Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened.
There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America.
Good night, and good luck.
Hey, folks. This week's elephant in the room is a question. The question is simple. Is Trump dying? Politically, yes. Politically, Trump is on death's door knocking loudly. You've got 62% of the American population who thinks that Donald Trump is not handling the Epstein affair properly, including a narrow plurality of Republicans, which means a part of his base has collapsed. You've got Trump's pollster, Tony Fabrizio, warning of a 2026 disaster. You've got the markets shaky because Trump wants to replace Jerome Powell as the chair of the Federal Reserve. You've got the Epstein matter continuing to absolutely decimate Trump's team in Washington, to destroy their morale. They are paranoid. They are freaked out. They are looking for anything to change the subject, and it's not working. It's not working. They tried the auto pen bullshit. Didn't work. Did not work at all, okay? They tried 3 days of that, trying to beat that auto pen thing to life, and that didn't happen. You can put the paddles on that thing all you want. It's not coming up to life. They tried the changing Coke to cane sugar. Did not work. He's still got a lot of bait. No one's taking it. What they are taking is a piece out of Trump's ass every day. MAGA is furious. He's been lying to them. It's really hurting him. Congress is watching for every taco move that Trump makes. They're trying to pass the agenda while Trump is flailing because they know their time is running out. They know the power of Trump is diminishing by the day. His own people. He called Charlie Kirk and said, stop talking about Epstein. Charlie Kirk goes, okay. And then he started talking about Epstein again. Laura Loomer, Candace Owens, Jack Posobiec, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, major MAGA influencers, all of whom were like, boss, this ain't it. We got to talk about this. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, deeply unpopular in the polling, which Trump watches very closely. So yeah, Trump is dying politically, but he might also be dying physically. Anybody buy the bullshit of Trump gets bruises on his hands because he shakes hands with people so much? You notice the big patch with the makeup, the concealer smeared all over it every day now? Trump's always had this aura in the minds of his base of invincibility, of physicality. And in 16, let's be real, he did have that big physicality. He had that more energetic posture, that more energetic affect. The guy is not well. And while the bruising and the weird bruises prior to that, previously from that, the weird scabs and the red spots all over his hands, that was also weird. But then came FIFA at the World Cup and the photograph of Trump and the tubular structure from his knee to his foot. Every doctor that I spoke to 3 of them now, said that is edema. If it was a woman, that would be preeclampsia. He has fluid buildup in his body for reason X, and we don't know what the reason X is. Those reasons could range from congestive heart failure to renal failure to side effects of chemotherapy or other medical treatments. But Trump is not well. He's mentally not well. You've all seen that. The classic symptoms of dementia, the sudden bursts of anger, that is increasingly common. Watch Trump in any of these recent Oval Office or cabinet room or other pressers, and the snappiness and the snippishness and is really getting marked, really getting noticeable. The edema, though, keep thinking about it. Like I said, I talked to 3 doctors now, one of whom I've known for a long time. And they all said, I'm not going to diagnose something based on the picture, but if I saw that in my patient, I would get them in my fucking office. But here's the thing. We know that every time Trump has had a physical, it's been a lie. Remember Dr. Weirdo, the weird long-haired doctor back in New York in 2016? The guy who'd been treating Trump for years and put up the thing. So he's the healthiest human being ever. He's 7 feet tall and 180 pounds of solid muscle. He is perfectly healthy in every possible dimension. No one has ever been a healthier candidate, blah, blah, blah. Then they swept into his office with a bunch of goons and took all of Trump's files. Dr. Feelgood, when he was in the White House, who was the White House physician, who was handing out, God knows, fentanyl and Percodan and every other goddamn thing under Xanax, every other thing under the sun. Ronnie Jackson kept putting out those bullshit reports. Trump's blood pressure is 0/5. Every time he did it, it made Trump look like a world-class athlete, which, as you may have observed, Donald Trump huffs and wheezes trying to walk down a ramp or trying to get up into a golf cart. So let's not fool ourselves. But they lied and they lied and they lied. Now, Carolyn Levitt has been confronted on it a little bit. She's lying. They put out a thing this year saying that Donald Trump weighed 224 pounds and is 6'3" or whatever it was. He ain't, and he ain't. So the question of is Trump dying is one we should be thinking about. It's one we should be contemplating, which we should be pondering. He is slipping before your eyes. He's collapsing before your eyes. The man does not look healthy. He does not sound healthy. He is not as acute as he was in 2020, and certainly not as acute as he was in 2016. This week, when he decided he wanted to fire Jerome Powell, says the press, he's terrible, he sucks, he's awful. I don't know who hired this guy. I don't know why they named him to this position. Donald Trump was the man who named Jerome Powell as Fed chair. He was reconfirmed by Joe Biden in 2021, but Trump wants to get rid of him so he can cut interest rates dramatically to offset the damage that the big bad bill has done to America. It's weird. He's crafty enough to know that part, but not cogent enough to remember the name or the timing of the man he appointed to the Federal Reserve. The other day, he came out and said, "Oh, Pete Hegseth live interview." It wasn't a live interview. It was some prior tape. It was obviously prior tape. And Trump's like, "Oh, it's so great." Was it there, Donald? Was it? Are you sure we were paying attention to that? But look, I'll speak to Trump directly for a minute, because while he may not listen to this podcast, I know his goons do. I've had this on extremely good authority for years now. There are some dipshit MAGA nerds who are assigned to find out what we're saying about. Mortality comes for us all. It really does. It's going to come for me. It's going to come for everybody. It's coming for you too. They haven't swiftly developed enough miracles in medical science to not make you a guy who ate McDonald's every day for the last 30 years. You're slowing down, Donald. You're not well. You feel unhealthy. It's hard to walk up those stairs, isn't it, boss? It's hard to even get up and down out of that golf cart anymore. The secret, Donald, is some people age with grace, and some people take care of themselves as they age. You have not. I think you were on Ozempic for a while last year. Looked like it. Looked like you lost a few. You're not doing well. You're rattled. You feel like the walls are closing in a little bit on this Epstein matter, and that's stressed you out in a way that very few things ever have. That stress is hurting you. You won't let the steam valve release. You won't let that moment happen, because you know what's in those files. You know it's bad. You know it's really, really bad. You know it's so bad. But I'm going to say this, Donald, and I mean this. You should get medical help. That edema, that fluid buildup in your body, that's no good, man. If you want to let it go, a lot of Americans will not object. I'd rather you leave office humiliated, head to prison after this is all over in some capacity, than having you die in office, honestly. But you might die in office if you don't start taking care of yourself, and don't find a doctor who will let you rewrite your own medical reports. Your vanity is an amazing element of your character. Your vanity is so powerful and so sweeping and so obsessive. But Donald, you're an old man now. You're 80. You're not that guy anymore. You're not that guy with Jeffrey Epstein 30 years ago chasing tail in New York and Palm Beach. Lose the Big Macs, bro. I would lose them sooner than later. Filet of fish is not your friend, pal. The elephant in the room is the question: is Trump dying? I think he might be. Politically, I know he is. Mentally, for sure. Physically, any doctor who treats Donald Trump right now needs to put their Hippocratic oath front and center. This guy's not well. And if you let him bullshit you into writing phony medical reports that he's in perfect health and his cholesterol is 0 and he's 14 feet tall and covered in steel, when the autopsy comes, your results will be mentioned. It ain't pretty. Now, of course, given that America has had a run of terrible luck for the last decade, this motherfucker may live to be 97 years old. Who knows? He doesn't look it right now. He looks sick. He sounds sick. He sounds weak. He sounds confused. It's not good, Donald. Not good, Donald. Not good at all. That is this week's main elephant in the room. I want to talk for a few minutes, though, about another candidate for the elephant in the room this week. Another person maneuvering around the grotesque necessities of Trumpism. Congress has pushed through the DOGE agenda, the rescission bill it's called, which has made massive cuts, which has killed USAID, public broadcasting, education programs, a whole host of things. And the person who's happiest about this, weirdly, is Marco Rubio. This man, who has become the worst Secretary of State in modern history, is overseeing the end of USAID. Now, interestingly enough, the Republicans in the Senate put PEPFAR, the anti-AIDS program that was funded by George W. Bush, and is widely considered on a bipartisan basis to be one of the single best public health efforts ever in the history of the world, which has treated millions and millions of people for HIV and helped stem the tidal wave of HIV in Africa. The Republicans put PEPFAR back in the bill. God bless. I hope it stays there in the House. It probably will not. But the killing of USAID is on Marco's watch, and he encouraged members to make sure it was killed in the rescission bill. They tore the guts out of USAID in the rescission bill. When I tell you millions of children will die because of this decision, because of this Secretary of State, I mean it. Millions of children will die. We are cutting off food aid to children around the world. And despite what you might think, there is still endemic poverty in Africa and in South Asia. And USAID played a part in mitigating that. USAID saved people's lives through food programs, through vaccination programs. Those are all being killed. Marco Rubio could have stood up for the right thing, could have said the right thing. But his ambition to become president of the United States in a post-Trump era is so strong. He wanted the calling card of the deaths of these children so he could deal it out. I wanted to make sure that we put this down while I was thinking about it and while it's so fresh in the decisions. This Congress is Trump's wrecking ball for everything in the world about American soft power and American influence and America's ability to change the world in a direction that looks more like freedom and democracy and liberty and stability than in the direction of Chinese autocracy or Russian kleptocracy. But now we're just like them. Now we built this reputation as an unreliable ally, as an unreliable partner. We are literally burning food. We are incinerating food that was due to go to USAID recipients. We're incinerating hundreds of millions of dollars of food aid that was going to go overseas. It's Marco Rubio did it. He cut 1,300 diplomats out of the State Department this week. You'll never get that back. There were a lot of them in the pro-democracy operations of the State Department, international scientific and education cooperation, free and fair elections. It's unbelievable. But it's him. And it's all because Marco wants to be president. He has wanted it more than any of these other guys. Even J.D. Vance doesn't have that obvious vibe of raw, horrifying ambition about him. Even J.D. Vance isn't so apparent in his desire for the Oval Office. Marco is. Watch what he does. He's going to continue to play the game of pleasing the edge cases of the GOP, of pleasing the wackos, the lunatics, the oddballs, the weirdos, because those people want the cruelty. They want the evil. They want America to be seen as a dark force in the world. They want America to only exercise hard power when Donald Trump wants it. Rubio's a dangerous man now. It's not dangerous because he's brilliant. He's not that particularly brilliant. Smart, but not brilliant. Rubio's a dangerous man now because he's willing to embrace evil to win the Republican nomination in 2028. That's one hell of an elephant in the room. You ought to think about it. Thank you so much, as always, for listening to The Elephant in the Room, your weekly look behind the curtain. Just to let you guys know, I am on so many podcasts, it boggles the mind. I don't know how I do it with all my other jobs. Every Monday, you can catch me with Molly Jong Fast on the Fast Politics podcast as the routine Monday guest. I'm the sort of swing guest. Every Tuesday night, you can catch me on the strategy session on Lincoln Square. It is a great conversation every week. We look into with a bunch of people who've been in politics for a long time, how to win races, how to win this political moment we're in. On Thursday nights, I stream on The Breakdown from Lincoln Project. On Fridays, you get The Elephant in the Room, and there's my dog. Hello, Jilly. You get The Elephant in the Room on Fridays. You also get the Inside Behind the Numbers with the Wilsons, where my son Andrew and I talk about the polling. He's a brilliant pollster. We go through the numbers every week. You can also catch me twice a week on the Lincoln Project podcast and twice a week on the Enemies List podcast. And I seem to spend a lot of time on podcasts. So anyway, subscribe, like, do all the things. Hit this up on your social medias. Share it with your friends. Join Lincoln Square if you like. I'd like you to do that. Join my Substack, The Rick Wilson. I'd like you to do that. You can follow me on all the usual socials at The Rick Wilson. Folks, thanks again. Talk to you soon.
Good night and good luck.